Good morning, Barbara.
Oh, I did. I saw that.
Good morning, everyone. Janice, do you want to take roll call?
President Davidson,
Present.
Vice President Ricketts,
Present.
Secretary Kincaid, present, Treasurer Hahn,
Present.
Director Argot, Director Hector, Director Sauvé, and Director Setzer. Ooh, everyone's here today. We have a quorum.
Then I'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start the meeting and go on to the agenda, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Liz Argot, who was asked for some time before the meeting. So Liz, it's yours.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see everybody on this cherry crisp day. According to our calendar, the hurricane season is over. Another bullet dodged, and thankfully I'll take every bullet we can dodge at any time. However, our preparedness plan is in place. And whether we have a hurricane or an emergency, doesn't matter, the plan is ready to go. In our symposium, we stated that it takes a village to do what we do, and our village responded. This morning, we would like to recognize our villagers who made our Sun City Center the best community for many, many reasons. Mike Bardell and Matt Vermouth have been the wind beneath our wings and tirelessly helped us move in the right direction. For that, we are very, very grateful. But without our villagers, it could not happen. Mike is here this morning to publicly recognize our Sun City Center villagers. Mike?
Anybody hear me now? Okay. Okay, it's been a long road to get here. We thought it was appropriate to recognize those that have been in the fight against COVID-19 from the start. This partnership started in about August of 2020, and through the testing, and by the end of December, we had administered over 8,000 COVID tests. This was helpful to the community because it helped to slow down the spread, and the infection rate was very low in Hillsborough County as a result of a lot of that. We wanted to show you that it does take a village. To run any mobile site, it takes between 50 and 70 people to run it. We didn't bring that many today. I'm glad you're probably glad to hear that. Only those chosen to represent the organization. I would like to introduce to you the organization participating from day one. Sir? Sir here? Come on up front. CERT is known as the Community Emergency Response Team. They've helped with a lot. You guys could just stand over there so we get a lot of you together. Community Emergency Response Team, they have helped with traffic management on any disaster, and this was a good preparation drill for them to help, and they have done all the COVID testing and also with the vaccines and the boosters. Samaritan Services. Samaritan Services does a lot of the rides to make people to get to a medical appointments. They also do Meals on Wheels. But in addition, they sought to help the community out when we did all the code. Security Patrol. Now, Security Patrol doesn't do our streets in here, so it's kind of a unique little thing for them. But one of the things that they do that you probably do not know about is that they work with the Sheriff's Department on a silver alert. And you may not think that that happens very often, but I think it happened, what, 2 days ago? And they had to go on a search for a person that was missing. And thankfully, they located him. It wasn't exactly in the right place, but they found him. And that's the whole story. We do have a lot of those kind of events here in Sun City, and it's nice to see that there are organizations out there to participate in this kind of stuff. The emergency squad. I'm sure some of you think you hear from me often enough, so I decided to bring a couple of people in that ones that actually made this whole thing happen. If you would come forward. I just talk about the job, they do it. We're older, I mean, this takes a little while. We stopped running years ago. The sheriff's office, I don't know if Jeff is here. Yeah, he's doing Operation Medicine Cabinet this morning, and he didn't know if he was going to be able to stop in. But he has been with the program all along, starting this. South Bay Hospital. Now, they couldn't be here today, but they have been a real start with all the testing and also the shots. But they're busy taking care of people that need to, and as you know about the shortage of people, they are all hands on deck just trying to make sure they can take care of the needs of the people that come. Vesta. You got some of that? When we originally started this, it was originally planned that it was going to be done in Kings Point. But on doing that, then we found out it was an insurance problem and a liability for the hospital to not do the testing and have the lab on their premises. That was an HCA requirement. So we then had to switch it to their parking lot to do it. But they were instrumental in all of these, and we had to have a lab in order to do the results to get it all to the Department of Health within the 24-hour time frame. So, all of the original plans we did for the mobile test site, all the processes going in place to do it at Kings Point, to keep people safe. The mobile part of it was all thought of right in Kings Point at the start, and we just moved that over to South Bay Hospital when we did the testing. But all that plan was in. And the reason we did the mobile site was because we wanted to make sure that we kept people safe. The safest way to keep them is to keep them in their cars. You stop infection rates, you also contain it where you won't get as many people infected if they're in their own car, because there's minimally invasive with that, even for giving a shot. And I got a comment from one of the Vesta people and said that they actually look forward to doing the site because they really got a sense of accomplishment with being able to help so many people at one time in something so many people wanted. And I found that to be very striking. I thought it a little odd at the time because I think that maybe they needed a life. But very appreciative, and I never really thought of it that people viewed it that way, but this is dedication to the community. The Pickleball Club. These people were extremely important, and I think anybody that volunteered will tell you that, because they ran the hospitality room. When you run a thing of this size, you have people that have got to eat and take a break, because it is, we have all experienced the hot and cold. There were temperatures out there that got down to about 45 degrees, and when you're out there and you're a Florida person, this gets pretty cold. We've also been out there in the heat of over 90 degrees when we were doing some of this stuff. So it very much appreciated that we had a place to go so they could get a beverage, they could get lunch or breakfast. Then we also had First Service. Keith, they sent a person out there to help with the administration of getting all the paperwork right. And then the Master Association. Where's she? Okay. Okay. I called everybody, but I did take a head count to make sure everybody was here. And I would like to thank all of these people because they, from the bottom of my heart, they really helped this community and came together in a time of need that we needed them. So if you would, give them a I could just get a picture. Come on, you gotta get a little better. I mean, this is not a wide angle, really.
Better do a movie, Glenn.
A little bit closer, Barry. You need a couple more. You got to put it in here. Come on in a little bit. Come on, get friendly. You guys work together all the time. All right, that's good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for making this presentation.
We did that at the beginning of the meeting purposely because a number of individuals you just recognized had to leave. So I appreciate Liz letting me know that. Liz called me and said, do you mind if we recognize the individuals that worked on this? And I said, there's too little recognition for the individuals that work within the community to make it a village. And yes, I have no problem during our board meeting, and if you want to do it during the membership meeting and make arrangements for that, please feel free to do so. So a lot more members can provide their recognition. Mr. Bardell, you did not name yourself, and you were very instrumental in the work on this, and you deserve the same recognition that everybody else has. Well, don't leave out you as a member of that team. So we will now go on to the rest of the agenda. The first item is the approval of the November 5th draft board meeting minutes. I have a motion to approve them. Thank you, Liz. A second. Thank you, Barbara. Any discussion? Then I will call the question. All in favor of approving the board minutes? Aye. Opposed? The minutes are approved. We will then move into the management reports, and although we are not graced with the beauty of Ginger this morning, I told you pay back, Rudy. We are graced with Rudy's presence. If he looks a little rested, it's because he spent a little over a week down in Chile with his family and got away from the hubbub and chaoticness of Kings Point. So Rudy, welcome home. We're glad to have you back in Kings Point and overseeing a lot of the operations. So I'll turn the meeting over to you for the report.
Thank you, Jack, and good morning, board. We'll start with the Land Trust Management report for November. The 2020 fitness usage, almost 8,500 gym users, 810 water aerobics attendants, and 2,300 fitness group classes. On Spa Serenity and the salon usage, 405 clients. In November, they performed over 700 services and produced 20,500 in sales. The food and beverage operation, the aggregate of dine-in, takeout, and portico pickup, total number of customers served, 8,100. 12% of that comes from the portico. Total sales, 143,000. And as you know, we relaunched the La Perque Cafe, where the weekly average sales is currently at $1,100. With respect to the land trust projects, the South Club Pool Deck Expansion Project, the RFP process has been completed, and we've received and submitted 3 bids to the board for their review and approval this morning. Permitting through Hillsborough County is nearing its final stage of approval and is expected within the next few weeks. The South Club Indoor Pool, that project is on the way. The scope of work will include replacing the tile walls and resurfacing the lap pool shell and tile, resurfacing also the pool deck. Please note that the South Club Pool will be closed until mid-December due to labor and material shortages, and we certainly apologize to all of you for the inconvenience to your enjoyment of the pool. Also in the South Club, the 25-ton HVAC unit will be replaced and installed, and that's scheduled for later on this month. The North Court Complex shuffleboard courts, the RFP process is completed, a vendor has been selected, and the scope of work includes restriping and resurfacing the shuffleboard courts. We're estimating that this project will begin in the 4th quarter. With respect to the main clubhouse HVAC replacement project, an RFP process is in progress with installation scheduled for the 4th quarter. Moving on to special events updates, the Winter Series sales are going extremely well, and we previously held seats. And if you have previously held seats and want to renew those seats, please visit the box office. Individual ticket sales will begin on December 13th. Get your BBF. Our first show is Absolute Queen, scheduled for January 6th. BFF. That's right. Care Access has partnered with Eli Lilly on approval to launch the beginning of Phase 3 Alzheimer's trials. Residents are invited to join them for lunch and learn about the program on December 13th at 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. in the Kings Point Modular. Care Access will also be hosting their first screening event on December 14th and 15th between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. in the Modular. Mark your calendar, the first Wednesday of each month, Jen's Open Air Market will be located near the North Club pickleball courts. We're anticipating over 45 vendors and food trucks. The annual Holiday Arts and Crafts Fair in the Veterans Theater is scheduled for December 4th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And also the monthly line dance is on December 5th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the Veterans Theater. As you know, the celebration of holidays is scheduled for December 13th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the North Clubhouse. The holiday celebration is a can't-miss social event of the season. The festivities will include food and beverage, shopping, raffles, and a visit from Santa. Raffle prizes are being donated by Kings Point vendors and local businesses, and all proceeds for this event will go to benefit the Mary and Martha House. Looking ahead, the North Club Veterans Theater will be hosting their New Year's Eve party with DJ Darlene Meadows. Tickets are now available at the box office. And save the date for our next Community Business and Wellness Expo. That's scheduled for January 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the theater. Also, the Tampa Bay Family Physicians will be on site offering complimentary sugar testing, blood pressure screening, and oxygen level monitoring. As you know, the bus trips are back, and Kings Point is offering many trips through the Glory Tours and the Sun City Center Travel Club. Onto the transportation services. November's mileage was near 3,000. Total number of passengers, almost 2,500. and resident users were about 625. Gate security operations for November, the total phone calls, over 9,400. Highest call volume was on November 25th. There are 450 calls, average calls per day, 313. In passes issued at the gate was almost 14,700. Lots of activity. The security patrol covered over 2,100 miles and recorded 16 incident reports. Some security notables. On November 1st, Gate Security was notified of a situation from a concerned resident who informed them that one of the houses adjacent to the driving range had its windows covered with bed sheets that had a bold print "Help Me" message on them. Upon arrival at the location, the officers discovered a very festive, decorative Halloween display. Can't make this up. Of course, the residents of that home, they were grateful to know that Kings Point neighbors are looking out for each other. Also, over the Thanksgiving period, we enjoyed having 850 visitor vehicles. They were registered and entered through the gate, many with multiple passengers to celebrate the holiday season with their friends and family. And finally, on behalf of the Kings Point Vesta family, we'd like to extend our warmest holiday greetings to you and your family. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rudy. And I will turn the meeting over to First Service to Keith Wilking, General Manager, for the First Service report.
Thank you, Jack. Good morning, everybody. Room did clear out a little bit after the introduction. So, welcome. This is the First Service Management Report for the Board of Directors. Again, a quick note for everybody in the room that the current board that's sitting in place are members of their districts and are up to date on their maintenance fees. Just quickly on the financials, we had a nice budget meeting last month. It was a comprehensive overview of the budgets. Again, we appreciate all the participants that came to the meeting, including the Master Association, Vesta, and First Service. I think it was a really well-attended event and really went very well, and look forward to doing it again next year and maybe adding some more pieces to that meeting. Just staying on budgets quickly, we've held several workshops with quite a few board of directors. Sorry, I'm having trouble talking today. Lots of board of directors in our office, so we're kind of diving into your operating budgets as well as your reserve schedules to help kind of tweak those and massage those any way you like to. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you give it your can. I'm happy to meet with anybody any day to go over those and really kind of help work those budgets and get them looking in good shape for you. So don't hesitate to ask us for help on that. We definitely appreciate it. I definitely enjoy the budget process working through that. So a couple administrative items for the month of November. We had about 35 transfers and 44 leases come through. This, again, leveling off the last couple of months, about the same kind of trend numbers there. We had about 3,200 phone calls taken. We did about 357 pest control appointments and had just over 1,100 walk-ins. Big number there, emergency contacts for the board. We had 144 emergency contact forms updated. Last month I think it was about 7, so we're getting a lot of those first notices come back, and a lot of those folks are starting to turn in those forms, which again is very helpful for each association. Alteration forms, we did about 57 alteration forms for the month, issued 28 violations, processed 119 invoices, and drew up 7 new contracts. Just quickly on insurance, again, we wrapped up a nice insurance workshop back in October, as well as having the USI agents at the last month's budget meeting to kind of help answer any additional questions. So again, as boards are working through those budgets and looking ahead at insurance rates, if you have any questions, please let me know or let Brian or Adam or Patton know from USI, and we're happy to again meet or talk through any items. Pest control again has slowed down for the month of November, just with the holidays there, so we're definitely inside the 3-day window. The trash collection bulk contract, we're going to be diving into that a little bit more under new business. So I'll save that for them. Okay, so the board. Hurricane season, as Liz mentioned, did officially end on December 1st, so we're very excited how the season went and how the group has handled reorganizing that strategies in the planning sessions. And I know they're looking forward to meeting sooner next year, as well as having the symposium earlier in the year for everybody. So we're looking forward to getting back at that and getting that symposium started in March 7th of next year. Landscaping contracts. We have, the RFP process is going through nicely. We'll be reviewing and opening the RFP bids today. So we'll start having some information. The committee will meet over the next 2 weeks and kind of go through a very detailed matrix grading program to help evaluate the bids that are coming in and then bring the recommendations back to the board. And again, we're looking to have the recommendations and the contracts sent to the membership for the January meeting for approval. So we're going to wrap that up early next year. Monthly grading, we continue to utilize OLM and First Service. We've been implementing with the iAuditor program to help improve the grading system and the communication, as well as on the weekly reports from the vendors. So we're starting to see some better communication and better detail there. So I think we're pretty satisfied how that is working and improving. Palm and oak tree contracts, month of November wrapped up earlier this week. They kind of have a staggered week with the holiday in there. So they were here before Thanksgiving and afterwards. We did about 350 work orders. So quite a few work orders coming through. We've got a kind of a new detailed work order sheet that Brown's Tree is using with tracking each section on there and trying to keep them in order and making sure they're hitting all the trees they can. Work orders for the general landscaping for the month of November were 31, and with 28 of those coming from individual requests from the POC. So those are all requests for enhancements or special work. And I would like to just touch on the celebration of the holidays. The raffle portion is going to be pretty exciting. It is going to be in this room here. I know Matt and his team have already started selling the tickets for that. I think you'll probably talk on the expansion of that, but got a lot of great prizes. It is going to be in this room, so my team would be kind of monitoring, helping set that up and showing the kind of the great prizes that are there. So definitely look forward to seeing you Monday the 13th in here. So that's all I have for the board.
There's only one thing that I want to talk to and with the residents that are here, and that's relating to pest control. The board has received concerns about, and you and I have discussed this, received concerns from some residents about the pest control company and the work they are doing, to the degree that some residents have hired their own pest control companies. I would only ask that the residents who are in attendance keep their residents informed that if they do call and they have the bug guys come out and they don't feel that they are doing a sufficient job, that you let your CAM know or you send an email to Keith. The only way we can keep on top of the bug guys doing their pest control, if we know of dissatisfaction of something that is going on that the residents aren't completely satisfied with. And this way it isn't comments or gossip from one resident to another getting back to the Federation Board or to First Service. Basically it would provide Keith with some written documentation so you could take it back to the bug guys and raise the issues to them that the residents bring to us.
Yeah, we work with them regularly on improving their customer service. Obviously, they have technicians and employees that they obviously can go through as well, which may affect the quality of service. So we always are communicating with them. I think their last meeting with the Federation Board, we discussed having a workshop, so that's in progress to have a pest control workshop. I know it's pest control, a very exciting workshop, but at least kind of get a general understanding of the contract terms, pest prevention and things like that. Just a little education and maybe helps stem the tide of some of the complaints.
Okay, thank you. That'll take us to our committee reports. Liz, do you have anything?
No, other than the recognition and
Use your mic.
I appreciate being able to do the recognition for all of our community members who have worked so hard on keeping us healthy and safe. The Palm and Hardwood Tree Committee is in sync with First Service with Keith, so we will not be doing a PowerPoint presentation this month. We pushed it off till January, correct? Okay. And other than that, things are well. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan, do you have anything?
Nothing that's not already apparent. Trash collection today, and nothing that's not apparent.
You turned it off, thank you. Ready to go, Liz.
Trash collection today, we're going to go over, we're in the process of the new landscape contracts for all 4 sections, and that's all that we're currently working on.
Okay. Janice, anything on insurance?
Just, things are slow right now because we're just waiting till things will pick up in January, February when the rates start coming in. So just say a little prayer, they're not too high.
No, say a very big prayer.
Say a big prayer.
Janice doesn't know this, and I don't mean this to alarm our residents, is I was talking to Adam from USI earlier this week, and he manages or he provides insurance from a 6-story condominium association. And the insurance company that was providing insurance to them basically stopped providing insurance to condominium associations, and they were paying $100,000 a year. Adam went out, got numerous price quotes. The price quote that he could get that was even reasonable was up to $300,000 for property and casualty. So, say a big prayer that we don't see that type of impact. I mean, we are projecting a 20% increase, but that just shows you what's going on in the neighborhood with insurance that you have going from $100,000 a year to $300,000 a year. Ryan, I know that you work with a number of associations. You have to be seeing the insurance going up.
There is an increase, yes.
They're very big. Tom, do you have anything?
Yeah, just as Keith mentioned, the bids have come in from the contractors, potential contractors for the landscape. The committee is going to have a hot and heavy month going through all the information and trying to develop a matrix for the best possible landscape for the best possible price. Alan, do you have anything?
No, nothing to say.
Barbara?
Now that the logo has come out, I'm eagerly anticipating the rollout of the new website and look forward to hear back from the committee on the up and coming rollout of it.
Okay. Alan, I take it because we haven't ended a quarter, we have no financial report for the board. That will take you to my report. First of all, I'd like to start by wishing a happy Hanukkah, as we are in the middle of Hanukkah right now, to all of our Jewish residents within the community. As you know, the menorah is at the front gate, and a different light is added every single night for the Festival of Lights, which is really what Hanukkah is about. So I wish all of our Jewish residents, friends, and families a very happy Hanukkah. It is a time for celebration in the Jewish community. It's not one of their really religious holidays. It's more of a festival for them. So when I was a little kid growing up, I always complained that they got 8 gifts a year and I only got Christmas presents 1 day a year. So they have it pretty good. In regard to the celebration of the holidays, which is a very worthwhile cause and should be a lot of fun for the community. I don't know if people have read the list of raffle items, but Keith, if I'm not incorrect, we have somewhere between 75 and 100 individual gifts to raffle off. Am I correct in that assumption? Ranging anywhere from probably $15 to $20 up to $1,600, $1,700 in value. I'll give you a little sneak peek. Earlier this week, and it's sitting in the First Services office, is Jim Magiro got Home Depot to donate a grill. And it is not a little bitty grill, it's a rather large grill that will be a part of the auction. One of the things that I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. Keith said that the raffle will be held in this room, and the displayable items such as gift baskets and the grill and things such as that will be on display here. A lot of the gift cards and stuff won't be, but there will be the raffle boxes for them. In talking to Keith and Matt and Ginger, for the residents, because we expect a lot of people to be up here that evening, for the residents that aren't going to be eating, we will be opening this room at 1 o'clock on the 13th for anyone who has purchased their raffle tickets and wants to get a head start on bringing in the raffle tickets and dropping them against the prizes. And it'll allow one to eliminate a lot of the traffic in the parking lot and give the residents a capability who don't feel comfortable in driving late in the evening or early evening, that they will be able to drop their raffle tickets off. Matt, you are sitting over there, and I gave you a heads up. As you know, we have been pre-selling both raffle tickets and pre-selling the wristband tickets to enjoy the dinner. And I asked Matt if he could give us a status update on how many tickets we have sold so far.
Quick update. Through 3 days, we have sold 2,440 raffle tickets, and we have sold 365 out of the 640 wristbands to give you admittance to the celebration of the holidays food tasting portion of the event. Quick information, just because I would want to know, out of the 365 bands sold, the early bunch is in the lead. 207 are interested in the 4:15 to 6:15 dining, and as we call them, the party animals are interested in the 6:30 to 8:30 seating. So early birds are getting the worm right now, so 207 to 158. So we also will have 2 more on-site selling events. It'll be actually today from 1 to 4 in the Fiber Arts Room, and Monday we'll be doing a 9 to 12 in the Banquet Room. The intent of that is to get the orders ahead of time if you want the wristbands for the tasting, so we can give the caterer a heads up on the amount of food to prepare. Monday will be the last day of those. You can purchase raffle tickets all the way up to and including the night of, as well as food and beverage tickets. But again, the reason we set this up was to not force a lot of traffic to the box office so you can get in and out quickly. I think I've seen a number of you there, and not many of you were in the room for more than 3 to 5 minutes if you didn't want to be. So that was the reason we've done that. So again, we've got some other opportunities for you. Okay.
Thank you, man. If you want to know where we are, and I mean, Matt just told you there was almost 2,500 raffle tickets sold. That equates to $2,500 that will be going to the Mary Martha House. We're waiting for the master to provide us, because they told us they had some cash donations. But I do know that we have had cash donations from a couple of our vendors, and those cash donations today from 2 of our vendors total $1,250. So we are approaching and exceeding $5,000 in cash that will be donated to the Mary Martha House. It is a worthwhile cause. I can tell you that part of the holiday celebration was the angel tree that was put in the lobby. I think basically that angel tree had angels on it once it was put up for about 25 minutes. Am I correct, Eileen? There were about 20, the angels were gone. Which is a...
Yeah, it was 4 hours.
Pardon?
About 4 hours.
About 4 hours, they were all gone, which is a credit to the community in support of those less advantaged than some of the residents in Kings Point. When I was young, growing up, and the lottery was starting out, and I lived in New York, there used to be a saying, $1 in a dream. That can be your raffle. $1 in a dream, and you can take that $1 and increase it massively. Somebody's going to win some very, very good prizes, including iPads, AirPods, vacations, including a $1,500 voucher towards a cruise, all for the chance of buying a $1 raffle ticket. So if you like to gamble, go ahead and gamble. There's a $500 Amazon gift card. As Ginger loved to say, there's nothing that you can't buy on Amazon. So it is expected to be a very good event, very big event. I cannot thank some of the donations from the outside Kings Point, from the business community, but I have a deep gratitude to the vendors within Kings Point, serves us every day, stepped up to the plate with an average donation of over $500 worth of gifts from each individual vendor, which is outstanding for them to pay back to the community for the contracts which we provide them. So remember, and Keith, Matt hasn't sent it out yet, but we will be opening this room early so people can come in and drop off their raffle tickets. Nobody will know who won. In fact, once we draw the raffle tickets, we won't even know who won because we won't know who had what numbers. And it will be announced at 10 a.m. the next morning. There will be a blast with all the winning numbers based upon the prizes. So it should be a lot of fun. There is one thing that I would be remiss if I didn't mention. I think everybody had to walk through the clubhouse to get here this morning. Don't you think it looks nice with all those trees out there? Sue Molinari, I love you and I thank you for all the work you put into doing this and organizing it, and it really looks great. I was walking through the clubhouse last Monday and I was just amazed at how pretty it was out there. So you also have those things to bid on also, and all those proceeds are going to the Mary Ann Martha House and for the organizations that participated in the Trees and Wreaths celebration. Thank you very much. And with that, we will see you before the Christmas holiday, but if you are unable to make it, I want to wish you a very happy holiday and a very good New Year. I will be glad to see 2021 well behind us. 2020 wasn't great. 2021 will be much better. So with that, I'll conclude my remarks and we'll move on to the rest of the agenda. There is nothing on open forum. There is no unfinished business. And the first thing we will do, and if you don't mind, I'm going to reverse the agenda on you. I'm going to call upon Victoria, if you would come up and do the presentation for the South Club Pool expansion. Understand that the South Club Pool expansion project was fully approved in this year's budget, and I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. It was around $600,000. The board requires whenever a project is done that although it's approved in the budget, if there is an expense over $50,000, that it is taken out for an RFP, and that Vesta brings that before the board for approval of those expenditures for a given portion of the project. So you're going to see not only today, but through the remainder of the 21-22 year, Victoria coming, or someone from the RFPC coming, looking for approval from the board for those expenditures.
Correct. Good morning, everyone. In regard to the South Club Pool expansion, this is our Phase 1 fund request. In conjunction with the RFEC committee, VESTA recommends the Federation Board approve the expenditure of $217,356 for the Phase 1 construction of the Tiki Bar and Deck Expansion Project, with 6K Construction as the chosen contractor. The bid received for the cabana renovations portion of the project will include the demo of the existing walls, upgrading electrical, plumbing, and mechanical aspects of the structure, rebuilding new walls to increase the square footage of the space, to create a walk-up food and beverage service with a full bar.
And you received and you have supplied to the board the 3 different bids from the 3 different companies.
Yes, sir.
And we have used 6K Construction previously?
Yes, sir. We did use them on a couple of other projects.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the expenditure with 6K Construction for the $217,356? I'll take it from Dan and I'll take yours, Liz, as a second. Fair enough? Any discussion? I know that you wanted to get this started. When did they expect to actually start the work on it, and when do we expect the completion of that tiki bar? Because I know the residents that go to the South Club Pool are really going to be looking forward to a walk-up food and beverage bar along with a full bar.
Yes, sir. At this moment, we are pending the 100% approval of the permit from Hillsborough County. We're hoping it'll come in the next 2 weeks. The contractor is already beginning mobilizing to get ready, so as soon as we receive the permit, we will begin work.
And when was expected completion of the?
I would say 4 to 5 months due to the battle of material shortage and labor shortage that we're experiencing in construction.
I have a question. Once the contractor starts work, how will that affect residents wanting to use the pool?
It will not impede pool use at all. We will have to kind of rearrange the pickleball kind of waiting area behind the cabana, but we will set up additional seating for them a little bit further over, but it should not affect residents using the pool at all.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Any other questions or discussion? Then I'll call the question. All in favor say aye. Opposed? You have your permission to proceed ahead with 6K for the $217,356.
Thank you very much.
And just so the residents who are in attendance know, this money is coming out of the capital improvement budget. The capital improvement budget has been funded over the years since the loan was taken out. It is not funded as a part of your dues. It's not included in your dues per se. There's money that's put in there in other manners, so the cost of this is not impacting your monthly budget that you would have to be paying. I just wanted to make note of that. With that, as Keith mentioned, Hillsborough County awarded the Southern Hillsborough County trash collection to a new vendor, which the name of the vendor is FCC Environmental, if I am correct, Keith, to pick up the regular residential waste and recycling. These are the folks that have the actual bins that you roll out to the end of your driveway every week and pray that they pick it up. Which was done by a company by the name of Waste Connections. You ever seen the truck? Their name's on along the side of it. Along with that, Waste Connection also lost the contract for picking up the dumpsters and the recycling within the 69 associations that have dumpsters within the community, which required the Federation to go out, obtain bids from the different trash collection companies that provide trash collection on a commercial basis. This is not considered a regular residential because those you pay through your taxes. This is basically considered a commercial contract. So Keith, I'll turn it over to you. You can do the presentation on the RFPs we got back and what your suggestion is.
Thank you, Jack. So we've been talking about this for several months, just so everybody kind of knew it was coming and the challenges ahead. But with the county commissioners changing vendors there, it did force the commercial contract to be rebid. So there are 3 total service providers in Hillsborough County that were basically allowed to bid on the commercial portion of Kings Point. Those companies again were FCC Environmental Services, Republic Services, and Waste Management. And essentially what we did is, you guys have set number of dumpsters here, 83 dumpsters varying 4 yards and 2 yards, and are serviced twice a week and include recycling services as well. So we basically used those guidelines with the bid process and received bids back, varying sizes and degrees. And the board has those in their packages there, so just quickly, FCC Environmental came in at $10,647 a month. Republic Service was just under $15,000, and Waste Management was just over $20,000. So I didn't think you guys want to go with that one. Another change that we've talked about too is the disposal portion of the contract. It was normally in the past was paid through by each of the individual unit owners that represent the 69 associations that have dumpsters. That used to be in your tax assessment for your unit. That's now since gone away. So your taxes in theory for that line item will have gone down, causing this contract to go up slightly. So this was discussed at the budget meeting as well, but that increase has been projected in next year's budget, causing the roughly $2 per unit increase per door. Overall, FCC, I guess, has been the recommended vendor that we would suggest the board to go with and vote for the membership, based on them having the residential contract as well, their flexibility to work with the board on the contract, and obviously the price there as well. Republic Services, that was next in line, was still subbing out their recycling portion. So that was also going to be a conflict. They're going to be sending a separate truck out here, so that caused obviously the price to increase as well. So that would be our recommendation with FCC. Some of the main contract terms, again, FCC agreed to use the exact same contract that the membership voted on last year. So same exact language in there. Only updates were, I guess, in the term notes. So there's still no fuel, environmental fees, and regulatory fee increases, so they're fixed for the 3-year term. There is a 3% price increase maximum that they can do. That was the same as the waste connection. Again, there is a swap availability still in the contract, so if there is an association that wanted to go from a 4 to a 2 or vice versa, that's an allowed swap with no changing in the price. So it's just an administrative function there that they worked with us as well. Some of the good news with changing it is that there'll be all brand new trucks servicing the community. So you'll have new residential trucks as well as new commercial dumpster trucks. And all the dumpsters themselves, they'll be removing the old Waste Connection dumpsters and putting in brand new FCC dumpsters approved by the membership. So, and that will all take place as we near the turnover at the end of January. I think that's generally all I have for that. Any other questions?
Before we get to questions, could I have a motion to approve FCC Environmental as the bulk trash collector? Ryan, your second. Keith, you mentioned, and this should be of very interest to the 69 associations, that FCC will be the single company that will be removing the dumpsters and replacing it with the new, because swapping out 80-some dumpsters is not an easy process to do. They have to have the trucks bringing out the old and putting in the new. It was one of the biggest concerns the board had when the county made their ultimate decision to change, is how are you going to swap out all these dumpsters because you can't swap it one day and come back a couple of days later and put a new one where the resident's supposed to put their trash. So I know you have worked very hard with FCC, and the county said, okay, you can start the process of swapping out the dumpsters. You pick up one dumpster and immediately replace it with a brand new dumpster. They'll be the same type of dumpsters we have today, they'll just be brand new. I don't know if they're gonna be a different color or not. As a side note, I was informed by Vesta on behalf of the Land Trust that Vesta has reached agreement with FCC Environmental to do the pickup of the dumpsters that sit behind the North Club here, and also the dumpsters at the South Club. So they have already resolved any contract issues with them, so they will be using FCC Environmental also. But is that correct? I mean, they have some process to be able to swap these.
There's an agreement with Hillsborough County that Waste Connection and FCC will work together in the swapping of the dumpsters. So FCC will bring them out, obviously, in enough time ahead of the January 30th deadline. So they'll start replacing them in the middle of January. Waste Connection has agreed with the county to continually pick up the trash, even though it's out of a FCC dumpster. So you'll see Waste Connection trucks picking up FCC dumpsters early in January as we transition to fully FCC taking over.
Probably the biggest advantage that we had is we sent FCC, or Keith sent FCC, the existing contract. And Dan, do you remember it was done? Was it done October last year, or?
Yeah, I believe we're in negotiations late August, early September, when we finalized the contract.
In October last year, we sent FCC the existing contract that we had with Waste Connections that had all the terms and conditions, not the pricing, but all the terms and conditions. And we told them this was the contract we wanted to use. Basically, they accepted the contract as written. So none of the terms of the contract that we have today have been changed. The only thing that has changed is the actual pricing from FCC for their trash pickup. So it made it a lot easier. We didn't have to go through extensive contract review. Did you get that door, sir?
Yeah, not more. The cost to the contract is minimal.
Yeah, it basically, and just so the associations know, if the associations approve this contract, it probably will cost, and Keith and I did a back of the envelope calculation, it was about $2 more a month than they are currently paying today. Is that correct, Keith? Is what we came up with?
Correct, and that's, again, that comes from that disposal fee.
It comes from the disposal fee, which they added, but your taxes, I believe, went down a lot more than $2 a month if you calculated it out. Dan, you said yours went down a couple $100, is that correct? The only concern that associations should have, that really shouldn't be a concern, I would assume you would have enough money, is this contract to take effect February 1st. I know you already have your budgets and your trash collections in your budgets for this year. So for the months of February and March, for every resident, their cost, or every association, their cost is going to go up $2 a month for the months of February. So if you have 50 units, you're going to have to come up with your association, you have to come up with an extra $100. I would hope it does not cause anybody any angst, or any association any angst in that aspect of it. But we don't set the dates for when the county changes these contracts. They set the dates. It would have been nice if they made it April 1st for us, and just so you know, if you start seeing, and we approve this contract, you will start seeing in January these dumpsters starting to be replaced. just because the dumpster is replaced by FCC with one of their dumpsters, Waste Connection still will be collecting the trash, even though there's an FCC dumpster there. Is that correct, Keith?
Correct, yeah. Just a couple quick other notes for the board. Again, the 3-year contract length was a Hillsborough County restriction. So the prior Waste Connection one was longer, but it was 5 years. But this one is set at 3 years per the county, so that's the only kind of other change. And then as the membership sees it, they'll be able to see the breakdown of the monthly cost, the monthly disposal fees, and the recycling costs. So there'll be some price breakdowns there.
We have a motion on the table. Any other discussion? Then all in favor of approving and sending the membership the contract with FCC for the collection, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is passed. We will send, and Mabel, would you make sure it's on the agenda? And a copy of the contract and pricing sheet is available to all of the associations. There has been numerous discussion on the approval of the FCC contract and the contract. The FCC contract is a bulk contract. And according to the bylaws of the Federation, anytime we do a bulk contract that incurs cost upon the unit owners within the community, it must be voted on, as the bylaws state, by the Federation membership. So there will be Federation associations who do not have dumpsters that will be expected to vote upon this. I would suggest that if those associations have concern, they contact one of the 69 communities which First Service can provide who those communities are. Or if you know a community has dumpsters, ask them, because you may have 69 communities, but they don't have the majority of units in them. And they have to be able to have trash collection. So if someone says, well, why am I voting on a dumpster contract when I don't have any dumpsters? It's because it's a bulk contract, and under the Federation bylaws, it is the membership who votes on it, not the specific user. And I just wanted to clarify that for any future use. And by the way, before I go to good and welfare announcement, a gentleman entered the room, and for you though who don't know him, sitting off to my left-hand side, who came in the room with his boxes, I would hope they would be filled with money, but I can assure you, knowing him, that they are not, is the Federation's Corporate Counsel, Webb Melton. So,
good morning, everybody.
I just wanted to recognize him. I know you are here for the Landscape Committee and the RFP process, so welcome to wonderful Kings Point.
Thank you.
With that, I will move the meeting to good and welfare. Is there any good and welfare announcements? You gotta use the mic.
Hey, Dad.
Well, take this one.
I'm going to send a note to anyone of force.
Is it on? If I turn it off? Yeah.
Okay. I just have a concern about the palm trees. Is that good to say now?
What is your concern? And I'll tell you whether it's good or not.
Okay, I understand that they changed the way that they're trimming the palm trees. And they're doing this full trim. I don't know what it's called. It's different than what it used to be.
They do not do 6 and 9. They do not trim because it is not nutritious for the tree to trim off green palm fronds unless they are inhibiting a walkway or a roof or a driveway.
Here's the concern I have, and I don't know if anybody else has, but we've had it for a long time, is that our palm trees are still have huge leaves that are almost hitting the ground in some areas. We have seed pods that have opened up, and it just needs more trimming because they didn't get trimmed correctly the first time. We've had a wonderful meeting, right, Fred? But that was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I did find out from Ryan that the contract now says that they come in 1 week out of the month to do more trimming.
To do maintenance on it.
Maintenance, okay, but they have not been able to come and maintain ours because they don't have enough time. Yesterday I saw Ryan out there, or I saw Ryan in the parking lot with the tree trimmer. He was gonna go around and trim trees.
He's not talking about Ryan Sensors, by the way. You're talking about Ryan Rohr. I don't know Ryan R. trimming. I can't imagine Ryan R. trimming palm trees.
Ryan Rohr. Anyway, I thought, wow, this is kind of crazy. I had to send out email to all our residents because we had a very heavy pod thing that was almost going to, I mean, it was not open yet, and we were very worried it might fall and hit somebody. So I sent something out and said, don't walk underneath the seed pods. Yeah, but my concern is because they didn't trim them the way they used to trim them, now they have to do so much maintenance on them just to get the dead palms off, trim the pods and that, and they don't have enough time to do it in 1 week.
I'll let Keith respond to that because he
Poor
oversees.
Keith, I've just been all over him about that.
Oh, I got news for you. He's have broad shoulders. He has to put up with me on a regular basis, Lucy, so.
Okay, thank you.
Try to sit next to Rudy too, so. Oh, to answer your question. Broad, beautiful shoulder. To answer the question, yes, the new trimming is very situational. So for your association, when we walked through and looked at yours, yes, you have very a high quantity of trees very close to the houses and can cause problems where you need more aggressive trimming. So I think we didn't get them to have enough of that done in November, but we will make sure they get back through there and clean up your trees again around your houses and your driveways, just like we talked about. And yes, the seed pods, Ryan's intent with the pole saw that we have is to make sure if there is something that comes down, like we saw your seed pods pointing down like a projectile, that we could help clip those, or the landscapers clip them depending on the height. But yeah, we'll continue to try to work with Browns to aggressively trim each association appropriately. Like I said, that's been the X factor is the association specific needs for a bulk contract like this. So we're trying to work through that as well.
Liz, did you want to add anything as head of the tree and palm? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I know you work diligently with the tree and palm committee and with Keith and Ryan on trying to make sure this is something new to the community of trimming once a year and then doing maintenance for the other months of the year. And it is a learning process, I think, both for Brown's Tree and the community and the residents of how it will work.
Well, that's true, Jack. It is a work in progress, and it's been very difficult for many associations where things don't seem to be handled quite, what's the word I'm looking for, quite frequently or enough to keep the pods and the palm fronds off house roofs, etc. But it is a work in progress, and yeah, we have a lot of questions from our committee, and Keith hears them from us and Ryan, so we will keep moving forward, folks, so that this maintenance program can be beneficial for all of our residents, all of our associations, so that they do not have to go out and hire another tree company to cut their trim their palms. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. I would only ask, and Lucy, this I'm going to direct to you. I know you're not shy. So I would say that to you and to other presidents or members association, if you have a problem with the palms, don't wait until you see Browns coming around. Get a hold of Ryan, make sure that make sure that Ryan is aware of it. Ryan fills out a work order for Browns. Browns does drive through the community, and they are supposed to be keeping an eye out for dead froms or seed pods up in the trees and things such as that. It is as Liz started the meeting with, it takes a village. This also takes a village to be able to make sure that Browns is doing it and Browns gets an appropriate list. But they do go through every single one of the 113 associations of the Federation. And again, it is a lot of work. I know that they put in more than a week in work. But one of the reasons was to try and make sure the trees were healthy and not trimmed in a carrot top type manner in which they were in the past, which affected the health of the trees. So I would only ask that people keep Ryan informed of any issues they have with a given palm or multiple palms in an association, and he will see that it's taken care of.
I have a question then, when we do it, and we certainly do, poor old Ryan and Keith are so sick of us.
I don't believe they're sick of you.
What would be the expected turnaround time then? Because we're talking weeks here.
It is once a month, and if you have something that really is dangerous and stuff, I'm quite sure that Ryan and Keith can work to get it taken care of for you. Am I correct? Anything else, Lucy?
No, not right now.
Any other good and welfare comments? Then I will take a motion. Thank you, Ryan, to adjourn. Second, Tom, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? The meeting is adjourned.